My company is called Thoughtfire. We are a full-service event management company, and we also offer public relations services. We are in the tourism and hospitality industry. We provide full-service services in terms of conferences, events, everything from the registration to booking of venues, to the caterers, to the decor. We basically act as a secretariat and an administration aspect to associations, NGOs, corporates.
I'm an entrepreneur.
I studied law in campus. I was doing a 4-year LLB, and in my second year, while doing it, I thought, I don't know if this is exactly the industry I want to be in. And my mother said, shame, finish your degree, and you can see. And I was completely uncertain as to what I wanted to do, but I knew that I didn't want to do law. So my mother actually owned a public relations company. It was a very small company, and I joined her, and I said, please can I just come in the holidays and just see what you're about, see what you do. And then I did my first event, and subsequently she retired, and I started Thoughtfire events, and yeah, that's how it all started. It was about a passion. It was about doing what I love doing. I think I still face challenges. I think one of the main challenges is when I was in Durban and where we were all on campus, and it was all my friends, and everybody left to go to Joburg because they were chasing these careers with, big salaries and big corporates. And it was a difficult decision to make, to say, you know what, I'm going to stay behind because I see the potential in Durban, and I'm gonna try, and as hard as it is, I'm going to try and make this work. And I think, when we first started, I was earning like nothing, and there were times when I would speak to my friends, and they were going on holidays, and they were going on these like awesome team building events, and I was like struggling to buy groceries for the month. I always had, because my mom always provided, and I always had supportive families, but you just want to make it on your own sometimes. And I think those sacrifices made me kind of jealous. So that was difficult. However, in hindsight, looking back now, when I look at the freedom that I have running my own business and the decisions that I can make, I think it's all worth it in the long run. I think it plays the biggest role. I don't know personally what's wrong with society sometimes when I look at, this constant entitlement that we come from in this country. And I always wish that, had people been raised like how I was raised, because my mom was a single mom and she started her own business, and I was raised that I could do anything I wanted, I could achieve anything I wanted. And I wish more young men and women were raised like that, because we need this kind of spirit in our country. There are not enough jobs, it's a fact. And, if people had the spirit in terms of not always aiming for those big salaries, not aiming to be CEOs of companies, but just aiming to live comfortably and provide for their family and, add to the economy, then I think that this country would change. I think in a couple of years, because this country would completely change. Well, from grassroots level, I think it's a social issue. I think it's how we raise our kids. Raise your kids to be more than just, aim to be lawyers and doctors and teachers or whatever the case is. There's such a huge load of opportunity, and there's so many different environments we can get into. From banners and branding to event management to public relations to decor. There's so many awesome creative fields to get into. And if you can raise your child to do what they love, I think, one, that's the first thing. And second of all, teach them to want to make something of themselves, be independent. That's how I was raised. And I was raised to, you can only rely on yourself. You've got to provide for yourself. There's no such thing as marrying rich. If you want to make it, you've got to do it on your own. So I think personally, when it comes to how to change it, I think from our kids and from the next generation.